right, guys, football is back, man. I am so excited. We are talking full NFL Week 1 preview. We're going over and talking about the spreads. We're talking about the matchups with the fantasy football spin. I'm super excited. Expect this preview every Thursday here on the Fantasy Football Counselor podcast. So make sure you guys click subscribe. I've got a special guest here today. His name is Boss, aka Bossarowski. He's going to come in here and chime in on all the matchups. I know he's a Packers ambassador, as you can see here if you're watching on video, but he's well versed on all aspects of NFL, watches a lot of football. So I brought him in here. We're doing a trial here to see how it gels, and if you guys like him, and if he likes you guys. That's the main thing. What's going on, Boss?
Good, man. Thanks for having me, Joe, man. Like you said it best, football's back. I feel like the summer's been pretty long, just waiting for football to happen. You know, training camp was long and then preseason. Finally, it's back. We got football tonight.
Yeah, make sure you guys follow him. I put his links below, guys, for Packers information. I know there's a lot of fantasy guys here and girls that like Christian Watson. I'm so used to Deshaun Watson. I got to used to Christian Watson. Romeo Dobbs, Aaron Rodgers talk. It's all there on his channel. So I'm excited, man. I'm excited about the season, excited about the Packers, excited about everything. I'm excited to get into this show. And what you guys are going to expect here is we're going to go through every single matchup, talk about the spreads, again, talk about that fantasy spin, and just get excited. Talk about things that we're going to be looking for on those offenses. For example, Packers, what to expect. We're going to talk about that, the rookies that came in. So we're going to do a dive. We're not going to do a deep dive, but we're going to do an overview, and we're going to give our predictions as well for each matchup. So, Boss, I'm excited, but before I get into that, I got to pay my bills, and I also represent people that I believe in. So I'm going to give you guys value. So first thing is very important, guys, for daily fantasy. It's available in most states. Go to prizepicks.com, use code DFSLion. Go try it out, guys. So how it works, Boss, is very simple here, everybody. You have 2 to 5 players you select, right? Let's just say it's Jonathan Taylor or Dameon Pierce. Let's say select those two, and you just select their over-under on if they're going to rush over X amount of yards. Now, I saw Dameon Pierce's this week's, man. It looks pretty easy. I know he's got a tougher matchup. 49.5 over-under. Make a decision, parlay a few, and away you go. So prizepicks.com, they'll match your deposit up to $100. DFS Lion, prizepicks.com. And secondly, guys, if you guys want to enhance that game watching experience, mybookie.ag. I've left a code right here, guys. Head on over to mybookie.ag, use code FFC, create an account, and enhance that game watching experience. And again, we're not going to guarantee the winners, but Boss and I are going to give you our predictions on the spread here to help you out. So that's where I go. They've also got a survivor pool going right now. Mybookie.ag. Use promo code, guys. Very simple, FFC. Go create an account, enhance that game watching experience. I know when I'm, enhancing my game watching experience, Boss, and I've set a pick and I've picked my winner. It makes that game that much more exciting. Don't you agree?
100%. Like there's games where I'm just not interested at all. And if I put some props out there, some random player on that team, scoring a touchdown, first touchdown, certain many yards or whatever, then I'm just on the edge of my seat watching the game. So I do that all the time myself.
Absolutely. So mybookie.ag, use code FFC and go try Prize Picks, guys. DFS Line is the code for that. All right, let's dive into it. Our first matchup. Now, if you guys are watching this on Saturday, fast forward past the next 3-4 minutes, okay? Because we're talking about the season opener, Thursday Night Football, Buffalo at LA Rams. Now, defending champs here, Boss. I got to ask you here, why is Buffalo, the favorite here? Because I'll tell you why. Because I'm telling you, Super Bowl hangover is coming. I think they're downplaying the injury with Stafford's elbow, and I think Cooper Kupp's going to take a dive for fantasy. What do you think of this matchup? And we're going to talk about winners, but I wanted to see a quick breakdown from you.
Yeah, I'm Bills as well. I really like the roster this year. Being a Packers fan, I keep hearing that, hey, the Bills, they're the favorite to win the Super Bowl. They have the best roster. And, it's hard to disagree with that. I don't really like how they're doing their backfield, but I also think James Cook could eventually be that guy. He's really good as a reception back. I like Kare Elam, their defensive draft pick. Signing Jamison Crowder and signing Khalil Shakir adds a lot of good weapons to that wide receiver room. And as you said, I think the Rams declined a little bit. I think they have less talent on offensive line, and I think the defensive backfield got a little weaker.
Yeah, and they've got James Cook, believe it or not, third on the depth chart going in from what I heard, which is crazy because
that's not going to stay.
No, and Singletary sucks. If he was good, they wouldn't have got James Cook.
Same with Zach Moss. I like Cook.
I'm excited. Now, from a fantasy perspective, lots of fantasy relevance here. A lot of people drafted Cooper Kupp. Will he perform to where he's being drafted? I'm calling a decline. 191 targets. I'm a walking statistic here. 191 targets. 191 targets. 145 receptions. 1,947 receiving yards. 16 touchdowns. I mean, this was an astronomical year. They brought in Allen Robinson. Again, I just do not see him coming even close to that. I mean, not even a slight decline. And as you see, guys, every year, what goes up must come down. Michael Thomas's year back in 2019, he came and got hurt the year after. Now, I can't predict injuries, but such a Cinderella year, I don't see it, man. I really don't. Now, from Buffalo, Gabe Davis, a lot of people are going to be watching him. Gabriel Davis could have a boom type of game. They both got relatively tough matchups versus position. So lots of fantasy relevance here. Josh Allen, so excited to see what happens here to get that feel diving into the season. Super excited.
Yeah.
Now, the spread here. Now, some of these guys, some of these matchups, we got some spreads here. Some of them, Vegas has not come out with them completely. But again, Buffalo at 2.5-point favorite. I think they cover that spread. What do you think on this one? Prediction?
I agree. If it's, if I'm choosing, I'm going Bills minus 2.5.
Yeah, Vegas knows something. I mean, the Rams defending champs at home. There's a reason why Buffalo is the favorite, and we've kind of went over.
I agree. Their roster's stacked. They on paper, they just have probably the best roster.
All right, let's move on to the 1:00 games, and we'll give our prediction here. So we got Philly at Detroit. I'm seeing here the early odds. Again, at the time of this recording, we don't have all the odds, so go in, do some research. But we're going to take some guesses here and predict some winners anyway. Again, we're going versus the spread, and we'll guess at some winners as well. But it's week 1. It's a feeler week, guys. We don't know. Since
no one knows.
No one knows. And some of these defenses have changed. Things have changed, right? So we got Philly as the favorite here, 4-point favorite over Detroit. I don't know, man. Detroit at home, they were the Hard Knocks team. If you guys watch that, they've got Swift, who I'm not sold on in fantasy this year, a little overpriced, could be solid. They've got, Williams is going to be a split committee. Amon-Ra St. Brown's going to play well. Goff, I think, is going to be in the groove. Hawkinson, if healthy, is going to be good. Then you got Philly, who say they've upped their team, but A.J. Brown, years to wow us, we're not wild, was a bust last year, boss. Busted, finished 32nd amongst wide receivers, was a top 10 pick last year. They've got Devontae Smith. Are we sold on Jalen Hurts? So many question marks. This is a game I really want to watch just to see from a fantasy perspective. What do you think of this game?
So I'm actually from around Philly, so usually I'm a full-on Eagles hater, but I actually like their team this year. But it's also very dependent on Jalen Hurts. What kind of production are we going to get from Hurts? Because I like AJ Brown on this team more than I liked him on the Titans. I think it's going to be a big year for Dallas Goedert. I really like him at tight end, and I think they added really nice pieces on defense with James Bradbury and then the trade for Chauncey Gardner-Johnson.
Right.
But I also don't see the Lions as the worst team in the NFC North. I'll talk about that one later when we get to another matchup, who the worst the NFC North is. But I don't see the Lions as that. I kind of like what they're building there. I don't think they're there yet, obviously. I really like Dan Campbell. They had a really nice draft. But with this one, I got to go Eagles. I'm going Eagles.
Really? Yeah. I'm gonna go against you here. I think Detroit.
Okay.
I think Detroit does it here. I really believe in them. Not believe in them fully. I just believe they're going to be consistent. I like their weapons, and I'm not really sold on Hurts yet. I got to see more. Yeah, so I'm going to say easily to cover that. If it's 4 points on the spread, I think the Detroit covers it. It's going to be interesting. But again, this is where Hurts has got to show up. Like, this is it. They believe in you. You're supposed to be the franchise guy. Goff, I mean, he's kind of in his mid-season, like mid-career,
of course,
twilight. We've kind of seen what Goff can offer, but maybe he could step it up, right? Maybe he could turn Detroit into what Stafford couldn't. But I'm excited to watch this matchup for the fantasy relevance as well. So it's going to be a good one. I got Detroit, got Philly. We'll see who's right at the end of the week.
And I rarely go Philly, so this is a shock for me.
Now, this is a game I'm going to be super excited about. We've got Indy at Houston. I don't see the odds for this yet, but I'm assuming it's going to be 1.5 points either way. I think it's going to lean towards Indy based on Houston last year and how they played. But this is going to be super exciting because Matt Ryan, new home. We got Alec Pierce, who I've got on all my fantasy rosters as a sleeper. Michael Pittman, is he going to step up? Jonathan Taylor, a lot of fantasy relevance, but also Money Mills. I've invested in a lot of sports cards. You saw it on my story mode. I've got a lot of Davis Mills cards. I'm wearing a Texans hat with a Colts helmet behind me. You can tell I'm fully invested in this game, not only because I was a Colts fan growing up, Peyton Manning, that type of thing, but also Houston. Again, I'm excited. I'm invested in Davis Mills. Dameon Pierce, the guy I was talking about since May. Everyone's jumping on that train. And we talked about it, Prize Picks. Go, guys. go and try DFS there. I'd pick the over there on the 49.5 rushing yards for Dameon Pierce. That's prizepicks.com. The code is DFS9. Go try it. Again, I'm excited about this game. It could go either way, but this is going to be a statement for Davis Mills and the Texans, and they're going to be coming out strong. Thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I think the Texans are kind of underrated. I mean, we saw last year not a great year, but as you said, I do believe in Davis Mills. I think he was the best rookie quarterback last year, and that's not saying much, but I think he is underrated. As you were talking about Dameon Pierce, I believe he can be and will be a bell cow back. I think they're adding some nice pieces on defense, drafting Derek Stingley, drafting Jalen Pitre, who I really liked. But as for the Colts, I have them win this one just because I like the roster better overall. I think Matt Ryan is put into a really good situation. I think they'll be a 10-plus win team. As you said, Alec Pierce, really, really like that pick at wide receiver, adding him into the mix with Michael Pittman. And then on defense, they drafted Nick Cross, and he's looked like a draft steal so far at safety. So really like him there. And then, of course, Jonathan Taylor, we saw last year. He'll always carry. Go Badgers.
Yeah, I mean, this is a matchup. Again, I got to go Colts here, but my investment is saying Texans because I've got the Davis Mills cards. I'm wishing him the best.
Okay.
Interesting Davis Mills stats here. Last 5 weeks of the 2021 season, I'm going to go over this. Completion percentage from weeks 14 to 18, 68%, ranked ninth in the NFL. Passing yards per game, 251.6. Ninth in the NFL. I mean, this is the crappy team last year, right? They made some improvements on the O-line. They've upped a lot of things, obviously, and he's going in with a better mindset, more integrated in that offense. Passing touchdown interception ratio, 9 touchdowns to 2 interceptions, but I think that put him 11th, and the passer rating of 102.4. This is the last 5 weeks of 2021 season, making him 8th in passer rating. This is Davis.
He's underrated. Not a lot of people, they'd be like, if you put those stats up without a name, not a lot of people will go, oh, that's Davis Mills.
You're talking Pat Mahomes there or someone like that.
Yeah, he's underrated. He really is.
I can't wait for this game. I mean, what I hate, again, this is what I hate about 1:00 games on Sunday. I'm trying to watch Red Zone, but there's so many games going on that I'm just like, so what I do is I put one game I kind of feature at 1:00, then I've got Red Zone, and then I'm basically scrolling through different games trying to see, and then I have the scoreboard. There's just so much going on. It's exciting, but I'd like to kind of focus on 1 or 2 games, but it's very hard to do that at 1:00.
It's like data overload. We wait all summer for NFL games, and finally they come and it's like, there's so much going on.
So much. It's exciting.
Yeah.
All right. Another one here. Cleveland at Carolina. This is a game I probably won't be watching. I don't have a lot invested from a fantasy perspective. From what I understand, I think Jacoby's starting. Is he not for this one?
Oh yeah. This is a wash year for Cleveland, in my opinion. I mean, Watson being out 11 games, whatever's going to happen after that, who knows? But I feel like this is a wash year. If they wanted to, and they have a really good roster. If they wanted to go into it, they could have traded for someone like Jimmy G. But I just don't see Brissett. I don't think he's it. But Cleveland still has a great defense, so who knows? They could definitely carry.
Baker Mayfield's got to do something here.
Revenge game.
This is it. It's a revenge game. So I'll be watching a little bit of that. Didn't he say something like F them or I'm going to F them up?
I don't know the exact quote, but that sounds like Baker.
Yeah, that's what I like about him. He's got that attitude to him a little bit, but a lot of swagger, but not too much to back him up. And then I just heard recently, again, I don't want to quote it, incorrectly here. I think Nick Chubb threw some shade at him as well. I don't know if you read the headline. Nick Chubb saying Baker is Baker. So I don't know the exact quote, but there was some shade thrown from Nick Chubb to Baker Mayfield
just
as well.
Play some football. Come on. Let's see who gets the better.
Yeah. Again, for this one, obviously Christian McCaffrey, people are going to be watching that. One thing you want to monitor in this game, obviously from a fantasy perspective, is Christian McCaffrey going to get that workload that you want and you've invested in? I don't have any Christian McCaffrey stock. As soon as I saw him,
I know you don't.
As soon as I saw him modeling and playing 10 games the past 2 seasons, that was enough for me. And non-contact injuries are what concern me. Now, I want to get your opinion on this. Okay. Let's say you're a fantasy owner, you play fantasy, right?
Yes, of course.
I would want, this is me again, I don't want to alter your decision. You're your own mind. I'm more concerned about players that have injuries that are non-contact, because they say, well, it's non-contact, it's nothing to worry about. But dude, if you're getting hurt and no one's touching you, that's a problem to me. Yeah. Then a catastrophic one like a Barkley, who's been 2 years removed and now healed from a more of a major injury, right? So to me, I get more concerned. Do you get more concerned with non-contact or contact after I'm assuming they're healed, right?
I, I'm much more concerned with non-contact because those are the worst injuries. We're talking Achilles, ACL, PCL. I mean, if we just look at the Packers real quick, David Bakhtiari, hasn't played much in like 2 years, almost 2 years. So, and that's an ACL non-contact. Elton Jenkins, ACL non-contact. Robert Tunyon, same thing. So you wonder with these things. Now, sports medicine has come a very, very long way. We see guys like Adrian Peterson coming back from ACLs, Terrell Suggs coming back from Achilles early. But I am still worried about those. You have to be.
Yeah. I mean, the way I look at it is like you and I, I don't know how much you work out or not. I'm a casual, in the gym. But you and I can go out there and get hurt with non-contact, so I'm putting CMC in the same class as us. And I don't care what anybody says.
Just a little faster, just a little
faster, a little more built, a little more athletic. Yeah. That's okay. Yeah. A little better looking than me anyway. I'm not going to comment on your look.
That's why he's got the modeling gig.
Yeah. All right. San Fran at Chicago. Another one that's very interesting from a quarterback perspective. By the way, hold on. Go back here. Cleveland or Carolina? Who's winning?
I got Carolina.
Yeah, I'd probably say that, but that's a crapshoot. That's a coin toss. All right. Yeah. All right. Next one. San Fran, Chicago. Again, this is Trey Lance versus Justin Fields. I'm excited about this because I want to see what Darnell Mooney does from a fantasy perspective. David Montgomery. Justin Fields, I want to see how good he really is. He's kind of set up for failure, really. He's got no weapons it's Mooney or bust for him, in my opinion.
It's the only receiver.
Who do they got? Like, who do they bring in? Pringle?
They got St. Brown, who was like the Packers' sixth receiver, and now all of a sudden, he's the guy on Chicago. They got Velus Jones, who's like the oldest rookie in history of NFL. So
and they got Pringle, right? I think they brought in Pringle.
They got some guy named after a chip, sure, whatever.
They've got nobody. And then you've got San Fran, who's got the weapons. Kittle, I think I haven't looked at. Let me just check here. I thought there was a Kittle. I heard he's did not participate in practice September 7th. He's always banged up. I don't know if he's playing. We'll see if he's available for week 1. But again, tons of weapons here for the 49ers, more than the Bears. And Trey Lance, is he the real deal? So 2 quarterbacks, and I'm really excited to watch play. This is going to be interesting.
Yeah, I think they're going in really early on Trey Lance, but it's not a bad move. I think he has a lot of talent. We saw it in small sections that he does have talent. I thought I was very interested to see what they did with Jimmy G, keeping him around, lowering his contract, how that's going to, work with Trey Lance. I don't know. Their offensive line, they got a few pieces. Spencer Burford, one of their draft picks, looks like a draft steal, looks really good. Their front seven still deadly as ever on that defense. Their defensive backs looking a little weak. And then for the Bears, as I was saying earlier when we were talking about the Lions game, I said the Lions aren't the worst team in the NFC North. Well, the Bears are, in my opinion. They have worse rosters in the NFL, and I don't think that's really an argument. Like I said, when we were just talking about Darnell Mooney, barely any wide receivers, and that's coming from a Green Bay fan. Rebuild, in my opinion, it's going to be based off the production of Justin Fields, and if I'm basing that off of last year, it wasn't good.
A little bit of bias there for sure.
A little bit, just a little bit.
A little bit of a Bears hater. So should I even ask who's going to win this game? I'm going to say San Fran on your behalf then. Yeah, and again, I'm not biased. I have no bias on this. I'm still going to say San Fran.
I've seen you wear that Bears hat
once in a while. It's on the floor still, I think. I don't know what happened. Yeah. It's over there somewhere. So
like I said, it belongs there. It's fine.
Only because of Mooney.
Yep.
All right, next matchup here. Now, again, this is another one. I'm only watching because I want to see what happens with ATN, watching the fantasy situation there with James Robinson. Because James Robinson, all those ATN owners who went 0 RB, waited on running back and drafted ATN as their RB1. Robinson could be the RB1. I think he's going to be. Again, that Achilles injury, do they come back healthy after that? Something to watch. Christian Kirk. Trevor Lawrence, the first overall pick last year, chip on his shoulder, has to do something this year. He's been given more weapons this year. It's not overly exciting. You bring Christian Kirk. And one of the reasons I heard why he got paid so much is because you have to pay somebody $84 bazillion to bring him over to play on Jacksonville on a losing franchise here right now. This is going to be interesting from that perspective. From Washington, I literally have no stock other than I just want to know what happens with Antonio Gibson, Mr. Fumble. Riviera saying that, we're going to keep handing him the rock. Dude, you have no choice. Brian Robinson got shot. Yeah. You drafted him because he didn't fumble a lot in college. Now you've got Gibson, who we know is Mr. Fumbleitis. it's going to be interesting to see if he can hold on to the ball, how much volume he's going to get. McKissick is there. They were going to ship him off, I think, to Buffalo, decide to bring him back or keep him, whatever. I don't know, man. Terry McLaurin, I'm not going to be watching this. This one's looks like a boring one to me. Washington, at the time of this recording, 2.5-point favorite. I don't know, man. I don't know about this one.
I feel like if Brian Robinson didn't get shot, he's starter. I think Rivera's just covering his back with that.
They always play. That's what I don't like, man. They always play safe, and they always don't want to hurt anybody's feelings on their team. And I kind of get it, but let's be blunt and honest sometimes, and they're not.
They're not. And, I think this team's going to be all based down to Carson Wentz. It's like, what Carson Wentz are we going to get? Because that's going to be very, very important. But I think they have really good wide receivers. They drafted Dotson. They got Curtis Samuel. They got, like you said, Terry McLaurin. I think they have a good defense, also, although losing Chase Young. And then the Jags, on the other hand, I think they should top 3 wins that they got last year. I think they'll at least top that. I expect a little bit better of a Trevor Lawrence than we saw last year. And then I'm also very interested in Travis Etienne as well. How will that mesh with James Robinson? Tearing that Achilles week 16. He seems like he might be ready to go. I believe he is. So that's going to be very interesting to see how they kind of do that. Is it going to be by committee? They're just going to go full ETN. We haven't seen this guy. He's basically in his rookie season. So I know a lot of people are putting a lot of stock in him. I'm not one of them. Kind of not trusting that situation there, but I guess we'll see.
I'm going to go. I don't know, man. I'm going to go.
I'm going Washington.
Washington to win. I think Jacksonville covers a 2.5. I think they're going to surprise some people. I think they've got some offensive weapons. I think Trevor Lawrence has got something to prove. It's a bit of a crapshoot type of game, but
definitely.
I'm going to lean on Jacksonville just because I think there's more fantasy relevance there. This is a crapshoot. All right, next one. This is a divisional game. New England at Miami, and ironically, I'm not going to say ironically, this is weird with no Tom Brady now for the past couple of years, or last year anyway, going into this season. Miami's a 3.5-point favorite here at home, and understandably so, because they've got what on paper looks like a high octane offense with Waddle there, Tyreek Hill, Tua. They looked pretty good in preseason on the one drive there. I think it was last week of preseason there, week 3 it was. And Tua threw to Tyreek. Tyreek, amazing separation, got down the field, just blew past everybody, caught a ball. It looked really, really fancy. Second drive, and they came back out, didn't look as good. It's going to be interesting. Mac Jones, I think, is going to be ultra efficient. Obviously, doesn't look like as explosive as the offense here. What do you think of this matchup?
So the Patriots are one of the biggest question mark teams for me. I think they have a really good offensive line. They have an okay defense. They have pretty good weapons on offense. They added Devontae Parker. And I think it is going to just base on, the play of Mac Jones. You said he's going to be super efficient. I believe that. I think he's a good quarterback. I liked what I saw last year. I think he could be the future guy there in New England. But the Dolphins, like you said, on paper, I mean, this team is loaded. They added a lot on offense. Chase Edmonds, Tyreek Hill, Arik Armstead on offensive line. They have great defensive backfield depth. I think they have one of the most depth in the cornerback room, other than the Packers. The Packers are just up there for quarterbacks. But the Dolphins, I think, are a solid number 2. They have a lot of depth there in the defensive backfield, and I think they could definitely be a dark horse team.
Chase Edmonds sucks, by the way.
I like him. I like him.
He's safe. He's a boring, safe kind of guy. But again,
I think he works for Tua.
And you got Gesicki there as well. But similar to, you got the Chicago situation, San Fran. There's so much uncertainty. New York Jets with Zach when he gets back, Zach the Mac when he gets back. So when you look at this situation, it's young quarterbacks, and it's going to be a lot of weight on their shoulders. Are they going to perform to where the team expects them to perform? And obviously they're starting for an NFL team. A lot of pressure. This is going to weed out the boys from the men from the boys this year. We're going to have a lot of questions from Money Mills to we're going to know who the best young quarterback is. We'll have a better idea this year.
Can Tua throw a deep ball?
I think he can. It's going to be interesting. Can he do it consistently? That's the big question. So Miami 3.5. I think New England covers this. I think their defense steps up. I think Mac Jones continues to move the ball downfield. I think Miami, they're going to be taking some shots. There's going to be some interceptions here. I think they're going to go wild. I think they're going to think they're bigger than they really are.
Yeah.
And maybe upset. Or they can come out and look absolutely explosive and be the team to beat in this division. I can't wait to see it. We're going to get a lot of questions answered here in this game.
I like Miami. I'm going Miami minus 3.5. I feel like they kind of have had the Patriots number in Miami in recent years. I like their team on paper. Of course, what they come out and do is a whole different story. But I think the tides are changing a little bit in the AFC North there. So, yeah, I'm going Miami.
I'm going New England. I'm going
Sorry, AFC
consistency.
East.
I'm going consistency here and efficiency over upside and volatility. So
Yeah,
it's gonna be interesting. I mean, I can't bet against Belichick,
it's
who I'm
hard.
not a fan of. He actually came out and said, I don't care about fantasy.
Of
I
course
don't
not.
really care about Belichick in New England, but I think they're gonna win this game. So
Yeah.
all right, next game here. We've got some Pittsburgh and Cincy, a big
Okay.
rivalry over the years, divisional game.
Oh yeah.
I find that, these games are kept really tight and close when Big Ben's there. The biggest thing to watch here, by the way, since he's a 6-point favorite here, understandably so, being at home, coming off, a big year last year, where nobody expected them to do what they did last year. They've got Jamar Chase, they've got Joe Mixon, they've got T. Higgins, they got Joe Burrow, they've got some great weapons on that offense, really
Oh yeah.
fantasy relevant. Then you got Pittsburgh, who drafted a guy in the first round, okay, Kenny Pickett, and is third on the depth chart right now. You're starting Mitch Trubisky. Years to wow us, we're not wowed. I don't like Mitch Trubisky. And here's my thought process. Call me crazy. But if you're not good enough to start in Chicago or maintain your job there and then not start in Buffalo, and people say, well, Josh Allen is that much better, you're taking second fiddle to what Buffalo didn't really want. He was a backup in Buffalo's mind.
Yeah.
So for me, if I'm a billion-dollar corporation, okay, this is how I think. This is, I think about this in fantasy. So why aren't they thinking about it in reality? Why would I get a bottom feeder Mitch Trubisky? I'm thinking I got to look for my franchise guy.
Yeah.
I got to aim high. And I know they're trying to do with Kenny Pickett, but let him start. Show that you believe in this guy. And then there's this whole argument, well, Mahomes sat behind somebody and Rodgers sat behind somebody.
Yeah.
I get that, but you want to win now too, to some degree. So I don't know, man. I'm not sold on this Mitch thing.
I'm not either, and I'm not gonna hate on Mitch too much. I think it's hard to succeed in Chicago, whoever you are. But I think Mitch,
That's the Chicago shots.
dude, all day, all day. It's week 1, so I got to do it. I just
Yeah,
got to
I love it.
start rolling, and the season's on. I think it's more of a bridge, and the problem with doing that, like you said, you want to induce confidence in your guy you drafted, but you don't want to throw him in there too early and wreck his confidence if he doesn't play well. So I think Mitch is more so a bridge guy. But my problem here is Kenny Pickett played at Pittsburgh. He's now in Pittsburgh. Mitch is going to throw one interception, and that stadium is going to be booing. That's they are going to be calling for Pickett by it could even be halftime. It could even week 2, week 3. I don't know what it's going to be, but it's going to happen. I guarantee. I really like Pickens, their draft pick. They got a wide receiver there. Their defense obviously still good, but I got the Bengals here, even covering 6 points. They're just a better team overall. And of course, they have a much better quarterback in Joe Burrow. Their offensive line got a little bit better, still kind of an issue in my opinion. They still have Eli Apple at cornerback too, which is an even bigger issue, but I still see them winning the division, and I have them covering 6 points here.
Yeah, and watch out if you're starting Deontay Johnson, if you're talking some starts and sits here, because his shoulder was banged up. He was limited in practice, but maybe good to go. Something to monitor there from a fantasy perspective. Najee Harris should get the volume, must start as well.
Yeah.
Again, this is the quarterback play here for Pittsburgh has been the biggest question here in the offseason. Mitch getting the nod here to start. Another thing, Mason Rudolph, are we going to even talk about him, or is he complete?
No, I think Pickett's actually second. I think it's on the unofficial depth chart, which whatever that means. But I think he moved up to the second guy. But like I said, that's exactly what's going to happen. Mitch Trubisky is going to have like one bad throw, and every single fan on Twitter in the stands is going to go, come on, where's Kenny Pickett?
Yeah, I read it a couple days ago. It should be Pickett at number 2. I read it somewhere that fans were like really ripping into the organization for having Pickett at 3. So maybe he did move up. This was a couple of days ago. I was reading headlines about that where again, see, as you can see, going back to what you said, one interception for Mitch and they're called out for Pickett, right? Like it's just gonna be like you invested a first round pick when we could have addressed other needs. Use the guy. We don't need Mitch Trubisky starting for us, right? So all right, let's move on here to another team that's in that division. Baltimore -7 favorite at New York Jets here. Understandable here with Wacko Flacco starting against his old team here. Who even
shout out University of Delaware, Joe Flacco.
You got to be wacko if you start Joe Flacco. I can't believe this guy's still in the league. I mean, I don't get it. Like Mr. Super Bowl winner.
It's been so long, and I'm a Flacco guy from back in the day because I grew up from around where he went. Like that's why I just shout out University of Delaware. But it's been so long, I kind of forgot that he's playing his former team in this game. That's how.
Yeah, that's what I did. It kind of hit me when I looked at the headline. Like, nobody, you don't even relate. The
No,
talking about like,
no one is.
Nobody cares.
No one cares.
So, but I had to bring it up. We care here at the Fantasy Football Council podcast. Yeah. We care about his feelings. No, we don't. So the Jets here, this is going to be interesting from a Breece Hall, Michael Carter perspective. Michael Carter was slated as a starter, right? Like, but the thing is, I think, again, another one playing politics here. We got to be nice to our guy. But really, it's like, I don't believe what you say. I believe what you do. 100%. And you moved up to draft Breece Hall or whatever you did, a second round. Like, he's the first. Yep. He's a top running back. You don't go and draft a top running back prospect in the draft if you believe in Michael Carter. So don't BS me and tell me Michael Carter's a starter. And then Michael Carter, out of all things, in the last week of preseason, fumbles the ball. So here you are fighting for your job and you fumble the ball like an idiot. Like, I don't know what to tell you, man. Breece is going to take that job. Yeah. And I don't care what anyone says. Now, Baltimore, I don't trust this offense in regards to fantasy. It's a crapshoot. I don't draft running backs like Dobbins when Lamar Jackson puts up top 10 running back numbers in his own right. So
Dobbins doesn't look good. He's like kind of limping around. And
he's already banged up. Like, I don't see it, man. I don't at all. So this one's a tricky one for me from fantasy, because there's so much uncertainty here. But Elijah Moore, I think he'll be a safe guy. I think Breece Hall will be solid. Lamar, I think, will be solid. But in regards to Baltimore, I have no fantasy stock. From a winning perspective, Baltimore should win this game. I mean, you got Lamar Jackson versus Joe Flacco. I mean, it's not really brain science, brain surgery here, really.
Yeah, no, I got Baltimore -7 as well. Now, the Lamar situation is going to be interesting all year with the whole contract. I think his deadline, he said, is tomorrow. So I don't know what's going to go on with all that. Something's going to go down there, whether it be good or bad. But you said, they don't really have much on offense. Although I do see a good year for Rashad Bateman, because usually, at least in Baltimore, there's at least one receiver that can give you a little bit of value. And I think it's going to be Bateman this year. I really liked their draft. I mean, Kyle Hamilton, David Ojabo, Travis Jones, Tyler Linderbaum. I think they had a really, really nice draft. As for the Jets, it's Joe Flacco. I mean, how many years ago? Sure, this is a coveted matchup or whatever it may be, but they're still a bottom team, even with Zach Wilson at quarterback. I really like their pick in Sauce Gardner, but it's a rebuilding team under Saleh, and I got the Ravens here.
All right, let's move on to the next matchup here. We'll rip through the next matchups. 5.5-point favorite are the Saints over Atlanta. Atlanta obviously got some good weapons, but a lot of question marks. Mariota looked pretty explosive in preseason. Yeah. Kyle Pitts, Drake London, a guy to watch. Got a lot of Drake London fantasy stock. He slides in as the wide receiver one
already.
Then you got the Saints here. Olave, great pickup there. But they've got Michael Thomas, who is he going to stay healthy is the big question. LeBron and Jarvis Landry, tons of weapons. Alvin Kamara. Yeah. It's going to be an explosive offense. Jameis Winston and his weird training techniques and antics. I don't know, man. I don't know about this offense. It's going to be interesting. Both potential explosive offenses. Obviously, Atlanta, a big question mark. They got Desmond Ridder. A similar situation where I think if Mariota sucks, Ridder's going to be getting the call.
Yep.
Man, I don't know about this one. I think the Saints win this one. 5.5. Atlanta at home. I'm probably going to take the points here with Atlanta.
Yeah, I really like Olave as well. A lot of Packers fans wanted them to draft him. Saints got him. I think they have a really good DB room as well, even after the Chauncey Gardner trade. But like you said, it depends on what Jameis we get. Do we get 30 interception Jameis? We don't know. We don't know what's going to happen. And I agree with the whole Falcons quarterback. Who's going to be their quarterback come midseason? Mariota, sure, he looks good in preseason. He looks good, whatever. But what's he going to do in a game? It's going to be the same thing. Like, he starts throwing interceptions. People are going to be calling for Ridder. Super weak wide receiver room outside of Drake London. Crazy how he's already the wide receiver one. Their front seven is I'm going with the Saints here, eating a W.
Yeah, all right. Let's move on to the next one here. KC at Arizona. I don't see the spread here. Kyler Murray. The short man is going to be running around like a mad. Every time, I want to get your image. Every time we think of Kyler, I just think of like a chicken running around, like, like with his feet.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's the image I have every time I think of Kyler, scrambling, running around, mad short man, crazy man. So that's what I see. I think he's overpaid. Is he more overpaid than, am I as pissed off as I was when Carson Wentz got that $128 million deal with the Eagles years ago? And everyone thought I was crazy saying this is a waste of money. And then finally I was right again. I think it's going to be a big waste of money here. I think he's going to be good. I don't know if he's going to be great. And then he was disgruntled in the offseason. So I don't know, man. Something to watch here. Hopkins is going to be out for several weeks. I don't know, 5-6 weeks. I haven't looked at
6 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's fantasy. I'm staying away from Arizona. KC, you got Mahomes, a new offense. Wide receiver one is not declared yet. Juju was banged up. I think. Let me see what Juju had here. Knee, and his knee was bothering. He did fully participate Wednesday. We don't know who the wide receiver one is. I think there was a statement released by Mahomes recently saying they're spreading the ball around. Is it Hardman? Is it Sky Moore? MVS? Is it going to be Pacheco in the backfield? Clyde Edwards-Helaire sucked over the past couple of years, can't stay healthy. Kelsey's going to get more volume.
Kelsey's going to eat. Kelsey's going to get all those targets. That's my opinion.
But when is the year when Kelsey goes down? He's been perfect for I don't know how many years. Perfect record, doesn't get hurt, top in fantasy. Is this the year of a decline? Maybe. It's got to go down sometime.
I don't think it is, just based on the fact that they don't have Tyreek Hill. And it was always, I draft those guys a lot in fantasy in the past years. And it was always one or the other. Usually it was just oh, Tyreek Hill, you got me 35 points this week. Okay, cool. I get 3 the next, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just either scores 3 touchdowns or it all goes to Kelsey. There was no real in between. So with him gone, I think they're going to spread the ball around more. MVS is kind of their new deep threat guy. He was a deep threat guy for the Packers. He has a lot of, 70 plus yard touchdowns in his career. I really like Sky Moore, that draft pick. Juju, not really sold on. A couple of picks on defense there for the Chiefs with McDuffie and Leo Chanel. As for the Cardinals, I feel like the Cardinals are always an early team under Cliff Kingsbury. They're good early in the season, and then they start going downhill. So I think this will be a good game. I think the Cards have a good shot at this, but I'm still going Kansas City overall in this game.
Yeah, I don't see the odds on this one. I'm assuming Casey's going to be the favorite, probably by 3.5 is my kind of guess.
And I'd still go them with that.
Yeah, Casey should win this game for sure.
Yeah.
All right, next matchup here, very fantasy relevant. Giants at Tennessee. Tennessee 5.5 point favorite at home. Giants, obviously, big question mark this year. Daniel Jones, make or break season. Saquon Barkley, make or break season. 2 guys that are really having to step up this year or their career is mush. I mean, some people could already say that their career is mush already. That's fine, but obviously receiving targets, not the most exciting on the Giants. Tennessee, they got Treylon Burks, something to watch from a fantasy perspective. Excited to see what he does. Didn't get rave reviews out of training camp or preseason. I get it. He's young. Probably have to learn the playbook, try to get integrated. It's okay. They've got consistent Robert Woods there. Derrick Henry should run wild. This is a huge fantasy relevant matchup here.
Of course.
I think Tennessee wins this matchup. I don't know if they're going to cover the 5.5. Giants could come out strong. I saw preseason, they were moving the ball down the field. Again, Saquon Barkley is going to look explosive. They're going to unleash him to his max potential, and I think he could be special. What are your thoughts on this one?
I agree. I think the Giants should be better than they were last year, which shouldn't be a hard thing. I mean, 4 wins. But I do expect a bounce back from Saquon. I think this is finally the year we see that. I really like him. But like you said, it is a make or break year for Danny Jones. When you do your prop bets for your yards, you don't do that with Danny Jones. You do it for fumbles. It's how many fumbles is he going to have this game? They have an okay defense. The Titans overall, I don't know the whole situation with quarterback. How quickly are they going to end up turning to Willis if Tannehill does end up struggling this year? Really like draft picking Kyle Phillips at wide receiver though, but I do see them regressing. I think the Giants cover this.
Yeah, I think so too. I think they cover. I think Tennessee wins though.
Yeah, agree. Right. But I think Giants cover.
All right, we saved the best near the last. Well, we still got 4 more matchups here. Again, guys, head over to mybookie.ag, use code FFC, go create an account, enhance your game watching experience because you definitely want to enhance this. Actually, this game doesn't need any enhancing, does it? Green Bay, it doesn't need any. No. You still want to go to mybookie.ag and use code FFC to enhance other games, but not this one because Green Bay is a 1.5 point favorite at Minnesota, divisional game. Cousins, Rodgers, Christian Watt. I'm not going to talk about this one. I'll let you cover this one. What do you think?
So I know you're big on Christian Watson, and he's officially a full participant in practice for the first time yesterday. So it looks like he's ready to go. And Alan Lazard looks like he's not ready to go. He got his foot stepped on last week in practice.
I'm so sad about that.
He didn't participate. So I think these 2 young receivers in Romeo Doubs and Christian Watson, they're going to have to step up right away. We kind of thought, hey, these guys are going to get eased in. But then, boom, we have an injury to the Packers, what would be wide receiver 1, and Allen Lazard. Aaron Rodgers really likes Lazard. So these guys are going to have to step up. Randall Cobb's still going to be there in the slot. Sammy Watkins, who knows we're going to get him. We could get our 3-touchdown Sammy Watkins game, and then he disappears. We really don't know.
I don't trust that guy, man.
Yeah, right. The Packers have a very, very solid defense. I see this as a top 3 defense in the NFL. Bias aside, I'm not worried about anything on this defense. I think they, other than safety, they have a little issue at depth at safety, but overall, ton of talent, ton of depth on defense. Georgia boys, they drafted Devontae Wyatt, Quay Walker. I like them finally putting investment into the inside linebacker room. Last year with getting Devondre Campbell, becoming an all-pro. Quay Walker's super versatile. They can use him in many different ways. But the Vikings, man, they're a solid team. I will say, Zadarius Smith, you're still a clown. I don't care. Like the Andrew Booth pick, but Kirk Cousins, I think, is a little underrated. And I'm saying that as a Packers fan. I feel like he kind of always, puts out a good performance. The Packers tend to have issues against Minnesota, but normally it's the one in recent years, the one in Lambeau. So I'm going Packers here.
Yeah, I don't know, man. In regards to this one, I'm going to go Packers win it. I think Minnesota plays tough. It's going to be a closer game. Might end up in a field goal at the end of the game or something like that to win it. I'm excited, man. I'm excited to see what happens. I heard that A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones are going to be a 1A and a 1A. Yes. How do you see that backfield going? Do you think Aaron Jones gets an uptick in receptions with Adams, or is it just going to be more utilization of a Dobbs and a Watson?
So Devontae Adams last year, 169 targets, like
a lot.
That's got to go somewhere, right? Whether that goes to Robert Tonyan, who I see playing week 1, goes to these young wide receivers, goes to these running backs. A.J. Dillon's super underrated in terms of a receiving back. They didn't use him at all in Boston College as a receiving back. It's just not what they do. And when they drafted him, I was like, okay, this guy, I know he can catch, like put that on tape. And they did last year. They finally did it. A.J. Dillon was used more in the receiving game. I think both these guys, Aaron Jones is practically a slot wide receiver. This dude could literally play wide receiver. I think they both get a lot of receptions. Like you said, 1A and 1A. I don't see A.J. Dillon as a backup, and I don't see Aaron Jones as the full-time starter. I do see it as a two-headed thunder and lightning, they call it over here in Green Bay. But really, really hyped for those two and these young wide receivers, man. Finally, to see Christian Watson on the field.
Yeah, I'm excited about this one. I'm actually debating. I got a start and sit question for you. I believe it or not, everyone hits me up with starts and sits questions. I got Justin Herbert, right? But I just love this matchup so much for Aaron Rodgers. How many touchdowns do you think Aaron Rodgers throws in this one?
Tough, eh? Man, 3.
That's what I'm feeling.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. I don't think the Minnesota's DB room is that strong. I think they're just getting older and older. Like I said, I like the Booth pick, but I got like 3. I'm
torn. I want to stack because Aaron Rodgers and Watson are on my bench, and so is Tonyan, believe it or not, because my team is so stacked. I got Kyle. Do I start Kyle Pitts or do I start Robert Tonyan? Like, I'd
go Pitts with this one because Tonyan could be technically on a pitch count. Yeah. I personally don't see it, but Matt LaFleur could totally do that. I think Tonyan's a great late round pick. You can get him late in all.
I got him. My team. I love him this year. He's going to be a touchdown monster.
It's every year. It's the whole Packers tight end on my fantasy team.
yeah. It's interesting. So I might end up starting Herbert and Pitts over Tonyan and Rodgers, but last minute decision. All right, sure. three more to go. Vegas and Chargers. Herbert, Eckler, Allen. We're going to be watching that. Keenan Allen, that is, not Josh. And then Vegas. This is the year. This is one debate I keep having with everybody. Oh, Derek Carr is elite. He got re-signed for, I don't know, another bazillion dollars. Again, years to wow us. We're not wowed. Hasn't won a playoff game in his entire career. Again, this just kills me. And what they're going to say his excuse is going to be this year. Oh, my division was too tough. There's no way I could beat it. There's going to be no excuse. You've got all the weapons. You've got Devontae Adams. I'm expecting Pat Mahomes times 5 with the weapons that he's got, or at least Aaron Rodgers, because you're paying him like an Aaron Rodgers pretty much, give or take, right? Like you're treating him like an Aaron Rodgers. You say this is your franchise, guys. You believe in him. Now you've got the weapons, even better weapons than I think Aaron Rodgers had with Waller there. Renfro, great in the slot. Jacobs is not bad. So I'm done with the excuses here, but I think the Chargers win this game. And I think, Derek Carr is going to get back to reality because I think Russell Wilson has a phenomenal season. I think Vegas finishes last in this decision. What do you think?
Yeah, I think if there's a year where Derek Carr is going to play good, it would have to be this one because, Devontae Adams, college teammates, buddies. Devontae Adams had an interview where he said it's I think he said it's tough going from one Hall of Famer to the next.
Yeah,
I have no idea what he's talking about there. I get it, hype your guy up, but come on, man.
yeah.
I don't see Devontae Adams topping what he did last year. I mean, it's hard to do that, just like you said with Cooper Kupp. Like, it's just hard to do that. The Raiders have very questionable GM issues with, cutting Alex Leatherwood after 1 year, first round draft selection. Defensive backs are questionable. I see the Chargers doing really well this year. I think Justin Herbert is that guy. Great additions, Khalil Mack, JC Jackson.
Yeah.
I got the Chargers covering.
Yeah, me too. Back to reality. Again, Derek Carr. All right, Tampa Bay 2.5-point favorite at Dallas here. CeeDee Lamb, someone to watch. Zeke Elliott. I don't know. I just posted a video of Zeke Elliott. I don't know how long ago it was where he was drinking at a bar with girls around him. He looked pretty drunk. Not a good look for a guy who has been declining over the past 3 years, and it was a third-round average draft position for fantasy.
I got him.
And then you got the Bucks, bringing Julio Jones. My prediction is, I believe wholeheartedly, that Brady will get one more Super Bowl before he retires. I mean, he's having marriage problems from what I heard. There's headlines saying that him and Giselle are
Trouble in paradise.
Trouble in paradise. You saw my post. Yeah. like the guy, imagine, okay, you've been dedicated to a sport. You've done amazing. You've obviously, to do that amazing, you've got to have, something's got to give. So obviously family life probably been neglected for years, right? To some degree.
And I think that half retirement definitely is the route he calls here. I think back to my family. And then no, I'm not. See you guys.
Exactly. So if I'm Giselle, finally, the Mr. Obsessed, is finally going to spend time with his family. And no, not done. I'm still going to go back to my obsession. Again, it's legacy, all that, but something's got to give. And I don't know his family life. I don't know his work-life balance. But if you're going to be that amazing at something, something's got to give. Like, I don't care, you're putting a lot of time in it, which again is fine. It's your decision, and his personal life has nothing to do with it. But all I'm trying to say is, I think he gets one more Super Bowl. I think they have a great season this year. Fantasy relevance here, obviously Evans, running back is going to be split. It's going to be a committee there. I'm not really sold on Fournette this year, but I think they'll be efficient. Both offenses really fantasy relevant here. I think Tampa wins this game, man.
I got Dallas. I got good old Mike McCarthy covering this game. Yeah.
Wow.
And this is just the hater in me coming out, but I feel like the Bucks got to regress at some point, right? Like, Tom Brady's got to regress.
No, I think they go one more. This is the last hurrah.
Oh man, I can't do it. Just retire already, please. But yeah, you're right. The Bucks have plenty of weapons. The offensive line a little banged up. Still a really good defense, though. I actually expect a decent year from Zeke. I think finally this is the year for him. Now, saying that, I still stashed Tony Pollard a couple things, but Tyler, their offensive line, they have some issues there. Tyler Smith seems to be like a really good pick there at left tackle, filling in. Pretty good defense. I still think Trevon Diggs is overrated though, but I got Dallas covering.
Yeah, I got Tampa winning and even covering, I think.
Okay.
Tampa Bay. And the final count.
All right. This game's interesting. I mean, I think it's
Seattle, the anger game. I'm all over Denver this year.
Yeah, they're gonna walk them.
They're gonna just level them out. I think Russell's gonna make a statement. He's gonna say, "Man, you had me trapped in Seattle. I wasn't happy. I wasn't fulfilled.
No.
I'm gonna light you up." And they've got so many weapons, man. Judy was a first-round pick a couple years ago. Unleash him. Unleash Sutton. Unleash the running back committee that is Javonte and Melvin. I don't like Melvin, but hopefully.
Hey, but Melvin's back with Russell. You got to look at that.
Yeah, I don't care about him. So anyway, what I want is I want Russell to really thrive. Obviously, a lot of bitter Seattle fan. Norb Cam, he's a Seahawks YouTuber, ambassador, a friend of ours. He actually is really genuinely bitter, and I think he doesn't want Russell to succeed because he lost his baby. It's like losing. He's got to be. He's a man. It
happened with Brett Favre. I mean, imagine Russell going to like the 49ers or something. It's totally different. I mean, he's going to the AFC. Okay, you play him once, and you're probably not going to play him again before he retires. Who cares? Whatever. It is what it is. He got traded. He's in a better situation now, and they're likely going to win more than double games than Seattle. So.
Yeah, I see the spread being 5.5 or 7. I don't see the odds right now where we're looking, but it could be.
Denver's covering. I mean, this is a tank year for Seattle, man. Like, they're not winning more than 5 with Geno or Drew Locke. It's just.
What do you mean? You don't believe in Geno Smith? I mean, another guy. I'm like, how is this guy still in the NFL?
That's my point. Like, I mean, he's just a career guy that's usually a backup, but he just happens to, be in this situation right now. I mean, it is what it is.
To make money, here's an entrepreneurial tip, right? Because is value and rarity. That's how you make money. The more value you give and the more rare your position is. LeBron James, there's only X amount of people that are his skill level and height, right? Nobody's got that. I couldn't jump like LeBron James no matter how hard I try. I don't have those genetic capabilities, right?
Yeah.
There's a skill set, right? Like Tom Brady, like, he didn't look genetically amazing, but he's ultra efficient. Work ethic is amazing, right?
Yeah.
There's only so many Tom Brady's and LeBron James in the world, right? When you look at Denver and Seattle, right, you got to pay Russell Wilson that amount. But another thing that I want to look at is like, why is there not enough players, not enough quarterbacks that you got to go back to a Geno Smith? Like, it's crazy. That's how
It's
much
hard, man.
That's how rare it is, that position, right? That's why they compete so
it
much.
is. It's extremely rare. I mean, we see this every year. There's like just like a handful of teams. You're just like, really? Like, you can't do better than that. But I also think it truly is like this quarterback class this year wasn't great. Next year's should be really good. So maybe Seattle's playing chess here. I don't know.
They're just trying to get by. But again, Drew Locke was a top prospect coming out a couple of years ago, and it just never lived
I don't
up.
mind him, but I don't think he's the answer.
I remember I met him actually. It was at the NFL draft. I was there in Vegas that year when he was a rookie year, and I talked to his agent. He's like, Drew Locke is the best quarterback to ever come out of an NFL draft. That was his agent, Todd. Right? A little bias. I'm still not sold there. He just wants the cash.
Oh yeah, really?
All right, guys. So that's it for today. Head on over to prizepicks.com, guys, and use code DFSLion. Go try it. Enhance your game watching experience. Of course, there with DFS, pick the over-unders, parlay a bunch of players. It's amazing. DFS Lion, prizepicks.com. Boss, man, I appreciate you guys. Go follow him. I hope you enjoyed the show, boss. What did you think?
Of course, man. Yeah, I love talking football, man. It's what I do every single day. Mainly Packers, but overall, it's week one, guys. We're finally back. We're gonna have football for the foreseeable future again. Got a lot of good matchups this week. Obviously, I'm most interested in the Packers-Vikings matchup, but there's a lot of good matchups. But there's also some games that you're just like, I'm not really interested in that one. But that happens every week. But hey, guys, football's back.
Make sure you guys turn on notifications, subscribe, and join us every Thursday. Well, I don't know if Boss is coming back. I'm going to be here every Thursday, but hopefully get Boss back again. So, yeah, guys, we appreciate you. Sunday is almost. Is it Sunday yet? I'm like a kid. Is it Sunday yet? Almost. I just get Thursday night game to get us through.
Right, Thursday's close to Friday, and Friday's close to Saturday, and Saturday's pretty much Sunday. So, yeah, we're pretty much there.
All right, guys, we're out. We'll talk soon. Subscribe.